Welcome to another unauthorized and rum-fueled Thursday treasure hunt in the deep dark waters surrounding Gatsby Islands with Gatsby Deep Diving Queen Raae and Sid, the pirate.
Yeah, come on.
Woo!
Okay, can I just cover one of my eyes or something? I don't know. What
Yeah, there's your eye patch. There's your eye patch.
and Paul the pirate.
Hello.
And Ura.
Hello,
Pirate
Ula.
captain.
So
Yeah.
what's our tiny task then?
So our tiny task today is get server data. And that is how we'll get data for our server-side rendering page.
That's good.
Mhm.
But I'm going to start out with asking you a couple of questions, Sid. So
Go for it.
First, the tiny treasure deep down at the bottom of the Gatsby JS V4 treasure trove. That is your personal favorite.
SSR, without a doubt, right? One of the things that I've been hearing this for years, right? Like ever since I started working on and at Gatsby, I've heard so many folks, not use Gatsby, and then their reasons were, oh, but I need SSR for I need to A/B test something, or I need these personalized pages. And that's always felt like that one thing that Gatsby can't do, right? And I feel like we've finally gotten that out of the way, right? Like there's really no reason not to use it anymore. You have SSR, you have DSG, you have SSG. You do whatever you want, render anytime you want. So definitely SSR, without a doubt.
That is, it seems like we planned this because last time we had decided to do DSG, and what was like, oh, my favorite was DSG, and then today we planned to do SSR, and you're like, yes, it's SSR. So I don't know if you guys are just pulling our leg, or if we just have the universe and everyone just cooperated on this.
You folks just got the right people on every stream. I mean, well done.
That is
well
all
done,
us work.
Well
That is
Ula, yeah.
I don't know where to point. This way, though. That's so hard. We're all the other way.
That's really good.
Now you were pointing at me. Now I'm pointing at Ula. Anyway, we've got some friendly faces in the chat. Both John is here and George and Petter. So that is great to see everybody joining us again.
And next question is coming now. So tell us a little bit about your holiday, Sid. I don't know anything.
My holiday? Which holiday are you referring to, Ola?
You went to holiday? You went to the holiday?
I don't know. But yeah.
I mean, I've it was a quiet holiday. I just spent a couple of days by myself, with my dogs. It was nice. Sometimes I've realized that we push so hard and we're always hustling and we want to do so much. It's really important to just slow down and relax for a bit and breathe. And really, that's all I did. I spent a whole week just sleeping and resting and eating nice food. Yeah, and that's what I recommend for everyone. Work is great. We all love what we do, and that's why I guess we're good at it. But it's important to slow down every once in a while. That's what this holiday was all about: slowing down, relaxing, and taking care of myself. Also went to the spa a lot. I love going to the spa. That stuff was great.
Tell us more about
I'm jealous of this vacation, though. I need one of those vacations.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm also interested about the dogs.
Yeah.
How many
Tell
dogs?
us more about
the dogs.
The dogs.
How?
I have two of them. I have a little well, he's not so little anymore. He's really old now. He's a pug. His name is Love. He's probably 7, 8 years old. He's really lazy. He can barely walk. He's always sleeping, but he's adorable. He's one of my favorite things in the world. And the other one, her name is Giggles. Just really funny, cute names. She's a Shih Tzu. She's incredible. That girl is probably the most, I don't know, courageous dog I've ever met. Anyone makes a noise, she I don't know, go protect all of us. She's incredible. Love both of them.
What breed was she? She was
She's a Shih Tzu. She's a Shih Tzu.
So they're
How
both
do they
quite
look?
small. Are they small?
Not. I mean, okay. Let me see if I can find a picture right now. The pug is not too big. The Shih Tzu is like Giggles is slightly larger, but yeah, they're not big dogs. Like, to answer your question, they're fairly like small to medium sized dogs.
Yeah.
You
don't have them here? You don't have them there?
Oh,
I mean, what took us into the goat shed? So if you have your dog...
Glad you asked. I'm gonna walk around the apartment and look for them.
Can I just ask a question about the dog, Sid? So you got a Shih Tzu called Giggles. Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I hear them.
Do you hear
Hello.
them? Do you hear them? Okay.
Yes. Hello.
Okay. My mom is hanging out here, but this is, I don't know if you see. Do you see Love? I'll keep my laptop on the floor.
Oh.
Amazing.
Oh, Lillian likes this one.
Yes.
And this is Giggles hanging out. That's Giggles.
Amazing. And there was your mum as well. Say hello to your mum.
And you saw your mom.
Hello, Mom. Very good. Yeah, that's a problem. Of course.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It was so sweet.
We got cutes in the chat.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah. You know, Lillian, we had the dog conversation with Lillian because she wants a dog, and now she's like, she kind of settled with that she can't have a dog before she's 18 or something. Yeah.
I said when she moves out. So she can move out when she's 16 if she wants to.
Now, she's looking for apartments now so that she can move out before she's 18 so that she can get a dog. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, she saw the screen, you know. She saw the dogs. She saw the dogs.
Yeah. She was like, oh, over here. Yeah, in the couch. Okay. Do we want to do some coding? Is it coding time?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Should I blow the little thing? Yes. The transition whistle.
The transition whistle.
Is that what it's called? It's never had a name before.
Well, now it does.
Okay, the transition whistle. I like it. I like it a lot.
But it's a little weird today because I have actually done the preparation and not Paul's. It's a little hard for Paul to.
I'm just gonna hang out. I'll be in the chat.
To be the navigator, but I'll try to include you guys anyways because it will make it more fun. So for everyone who came in a little late, today's tiny task is get server data, and we need that to create statically. No, I never get these acronyms right. So we need that to get to do server-side rendered pages. So originally with Gatsby, we did statically generated pages on build time ahead of time. And then with DSG that we did last week, deferred static generation, we waited until somebody visited the page. Thank you, to generate the page. But now we're doing the complete opposite. What we all used to do, you know, with way back when with WordPress or Express or any other backend framework, we are going to generate the page every time somebody visits the page. And that is server-side rendered. So what I did was that I just headed to the docs, like I always do, and I did some copy pasting, which is my preferred method of getting started. and as somebody could see in my tweet, because I had the wrong acronym on my tweet, which
I was just going to ask you about that.
Because I copy pasted last week's tweets and I forgot to update the acronym. So let's do server-side rendering, how to use. And I started by copying this little gem, which is adding get server data. And if I understand it correctly, by creating or by adding this or by exporting a function called get server data, that's how Gatsby understands that this should be server side.
Yep, absolutely. That's the way you opt into SSR, right? Everything else stays the same. You can do a page query, you can do whatever else you want. In fact, if you have an existing Gatsby page, all you need to do is add this export and it becomes an SSR page.
Great. I don't know what happened, but everybody was out for a little while. But I heard you say all we needed to add was this export function get server data.
That's good enough. Yeah, that's all you need.
So what we want to do today, I guess we can open up our site. And my plan today was that after you've logged in, we have this little live now button. And right now, if you are live now marquee, isn't it beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
Paul is like, I did not design this. And when you click that, you go to the YouTube channel. But what I wanted to do today is that when you click this, you go to a live page. So I want something to happen here on live, and I want that to then embed the live video and also make sure that you're logged in. And why we're logging people in is because we don't want to max our YouTube quota. So people need to log in to be able to hit those YouTube APIs. Okay, so my plan then is to create a page that I call live.js. And we're gonna copy paste that in. Let's call it live page. And then I will make it return right away because I know we're always gonna add something more in here. Okay, and it's not SSR page with dog. Did you make these examples? Since there are dogs, there's a dog example.
This was not me, but I'm trying to think of who made that. Was it Leonard? Maybe it was Leonard. Might have been Leonard.
And
I
like
a dog fan. I know Megan's a dog fan. Could it have been Megan, perhaps?
Oh, a lot of us are. Maybe
you're all dog fans.
We're all like we're the we also have cats. Like Gatsby is a very like animal friendly company. We all have pets. It's ridiculous.
Okay, so I'm now running it, and I also put a little inside get server data because otherwise it's hard. It's going to be hard to see. She's playing with her marbles.
Oh, I thought that was Zula.
No,
I thought he had lost his marbles and he was trying to find them. That's what the noise was.
And to everyone should be really pleased with me today. I've managed to restart my computer. I have quit all processes, so this maybe should go faster today. We had some problems last week. So if we head on over to live now, we can see that it's there. Oh, it's not there. We're here. I can write live. There it is.
See it?
It was just it hadn't generated, I guess.
I think it wasn't ready. But then.
Well, what is
interesting?
What is it? Interesting, yeah, because this worked this morning. I've obviously done something.
That should definitely be working. So it looks like it failed.
Oh, I might have. Oh, let's do an npm clean. Let's do a run clean because there might be some stuff from when I was like when I started preparing these streams. We've had all kinds of issues because there are always problems with the cache or the package locks because I go back to start the stream. I need to remember these. Okay.
Public service announcement. That's why it's in beta. we promise things will get better. I promise. That's why it's in beta.
We had some fun last week when our DSR pages weren't showing up, and it turned out it was our problem and not Gatsby's problem. But what was like, we got a blank page, and he was like, "Well, we're delivering on our promise though, because that is the fastest page you can ever get, a blank page."
That sounds like something Ward would say. Yeah. Ward is adorable. I love him. Also, he has really good hair. I don't know if you'll notice. Did y'all notice how I tell him this every time I meet him. Like, I'm not even making this up. Ask him the next time you talk to him. Every time I meet him, my first comment is how good. Like, his hair is, and I've met him in person. He has the softest, most crisp looking hair. I mean, And like
now
I
I'm
just have,
visualizing these Gatsby retreats.
Yeah.
It's basically Sid
I
just
don't have-
massaging Ward's hair, talking about DSG.
So, okay, so what does he do?
I don't
then?
know
Does he
why.
do
Why is
something?
this not working today?
Oh
I don't
god.
know. I ask him for his routine and he never tells me. It's,
Oh,
he
I
tells
see.
you it's just
It's
yeah,
a
it's just
secret.
Oh,
he just
now it
shrugs
says
and
it
he's
can...
like, oh, it's there you go. Is it still building though? I think it's still building.
Yeah, but it's like error loading or assault for the because there's nothing in this query. Oh, because I put console login.
You
Is
might
that
wanna
why?
return something in get server data. Let's just go ahead and do like a return, like an empty object or a null for now. But let's add a return in there.
Well, see, I copy pasted this example though, and it has no return, and it worked earlier today.
Interesting. How about
But
we?
let's do a return then.
You
So
ran
we're
Gatsby clean though, right?
yeah, I did. But so if we go now down to the
Interesting.
next step, the interesting thing we need to do is that we need to return a props element. So props.
Yep.
So let's do test and the test. I mean, I'm so creative. It's not even.
Just for
My
my
go-to-
curiosity.
My go-to is
Benedict,
blah. But go
Oh,
for it.
there we have it.
Oh,
So that was the
Yes.
problem. Because I put
Yeah.
that little console login, it was expecting a return while there was no
It
console
probably
login
was.
there.
Yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
thought. Yeah.
So
Never
if
mind.
we do, so this is interesting now because if we do the console log, we see here now instead get server data, and that will then run every time we reload this page. We'll get it
Exactly.
again and again.
Absolutely.
And that is because this then is happening on every load, and then our little marquee here is asking the function, "Are we live?" for some information. So that was a
Ooh,
great
and
first
that's a
step.
Gatsby function.
That is a Gatsby function, and we're going to use that
Look at
Gatsby
that.
function inside of our get
The whole
server data.
stack. It's amazing. The whole stack. Wow. Are we
It's
going to
just-
ship this to Gatsby Cloud?
We are not
we
because
do.
we
Well,
usually
we
do,
but
but
then we'll do this feature.
no, we are not because we're having a problem with our thumbnails, and we don't know if that's a Gatsby version 4 problem or is it our problem. So we need to figure that out.
All right.
But anyway,
So what's the next step?
So the next step I was just going to show folks is that if I understand correctly, to get access to whatever we return here, we can destruct and it's server data, is it?
I do think so, as far as I remember. Yeah, it is server data.
Yeah,
so you
server
get data
data
for everything else from your page queries, and you get server data, which is the return from your get server data function.
Yeah.
Let's
so
go ahead and
if we
log that.
then we could do a little and then we can do JSON stringify just to have a look at what we are getting back. Oh, and we need a ending bracket. Well, yes, but I added an ending bracket. There we go. So we can see test. So we are getting that prop data in there as server data. So this props object is what we are getting here as server data.
Yeah,
that's SSR.
Should have been called. Let's go home, everybody.
Yeah, that's
it. That's all we're doing today.
that is our tiny task. We're actually done with our tiny task, but let's make it a little bit more fun. But just like since I'm outside of this company, why is this not called server props? Since this is props, shouldn't this be server props?
That's a very good question. I think we went with server data because we have data, which is what the prop is called when it's data from your your page queries, and the function is called get server data. So it felt natural to have get server data and then server data.
Yeah, well then I would have called this data and not props.
That's what I was thinking, right? Like that would make so much more sense. I don't know why that's called props. Maybe we'll change it. Maybe not.
I mean, it's still beta.
I'm surprised you didn't want to call it YOLO or something, Benedict. Like you love it.
I mean, YOLO would have been even better, but not not so descriptive. Yeah, but that is basically it to create a server rendered page. Yes. I'm just trying not to listen to these marbles that are being played next to my headset. But like, it's not very interesting though, is it? So what we want to try to do now is to get the data from our existing live are we live function to see if we are live. So we use Axios. And I'm just going to copy paste this because I can feel that I am not at a state where I can do this properly.
That's all right. It's all good. Paul, I love your headphones, man. That red really like pops.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Do you think they would look good with Ward's lovely hair as well?
God, I wish Ward would have come on the show the next time so y'all could then like troll him about this.
Well, I'm going to make a little video clip about your comment about his lovely hair, and then we'll tweet him about it like a best bits.
It's already like an internal joke thingy at Gatsby. Like we do it all the time. It's
Maybe we could get you and Ward on, and we can just talk about hair.
Ooh,
our grooming
and like
techniques.
conditioning.
Yeah,
right. Like shampoo and conditioner reviews or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would totally be in for that. Let's do it.
I am gonna do this though because we can do that. We can do it in steps. So first, we want to try to get. Yeah, we're going to get from our API endpoint. We're going to get some data back, and then I'm just going to spread that data onto the props so that we get everything we get from the server. And then if there's an error, I'm going to send that error message back. But then, interestingly enough, to be able to use this function that we have, you need to be authorized with auth0. And then I figured out that you could put query params onto the end of the page URL. So if we do one of these access tokens just to test, they're getting an error because query is method. Right. Yeah. So to get access to that, we need to destructure it from the get server data props or params or arguments. I never know which one is correct. Yeah. And I figured that out, everyone, by going to API reference guides. And this is where it says that you get this context param, and in there you have query params. If you're using the file system route API, you get the data from there, the URL, of course, and then the request method and headers should come in on this context.
Yeah, I think of context as the request object in Express, right? It's got all the same piece. Yeah. You get the URL, you get the method. The idea is that it's just like Gatsby functions, where you get the request object. So
it would be the same that you get in the request in a Gatsby function.
Pretty much. So you have URL, you have headers, you have method, you have query, body, etc. But I don't think you have body actually, because SSR wouldn't like you would not be posting to an SSR page, right? You'd only get requested. So I don't think you can do a body. But besides that, you can do headers, method, URL, query, and so on.
So
the little thing, Benedicte, the Axios get. I don't know if you need the full localhost and HTTP in that.
Yeah, that is interesting. That is interesting because it does not work if I don't put that in. So that was something I was going to ask about, if there's like a good way to figure out the URL for the data for the page you're on right now. But that's when I was like, oh, but there is a URL here. Maybe we could like get it from
That's
there.
interesting because I'm surprised that doesn't work, because doing a request to just /API should do a relative request to the current host, and the current host is localhost 8000. So I'm actually surprised that doesn't work. If that doesn't work, that's a bug. Like, we should be fixing that.
Yeah, well, let's test it, because I'm pretty sure I couldn't get it to work when I was testing. But yes, it says econ refused. I'm not allowed to use because it's trying to. So it doesn't do that, because what I love about Gatsby and with the function, it does all that proxy stuff for us. But in this case, it does not.
Right, that's a bug. We should fix that, because it's trying to hit localhost, as you can see, but it's trying to hit localhost at port 80. That's the issue there, right? You see 127.0.0.1, right? So it thinks like it's just 480, like a typical HTTP server, right? So anyway, for now, let's add localhost, but we should fix this. That's a bug. I'm gonna put that down.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. But let's
going
see.
live into the Jira backlog.
Well, let's have a look at what that URL is, because maybe we could use that in some way.
I guess that's a bit of an issue. Like, it's fine to put, localhost in now, but we couldn't deploy that because we then have to kind of pass through the domain of where the thing was being deployed. And I guess the advantage of just having the / API is it's going to work whether it's localhost 8,000, 9,000, or your .com or whatever.
Okay, so the URL is just the URL to the.
It's just relative. Yeah, that's what I expected.
No, it's not even that. It's like page data. It's like a weird. Where's my?
Oh, that's because that's right. That's because when you the reason that's /page data is because I think you're already on your Gatsby app, and when you sort of navigate, you end up requesting /page data because you don't need to request the HTML. One way to fix this for now, like for us to move forward, I think what we should do is let's add a host or a domain in Gatsby config, and like locally, if node environment is development, we can hit localhost, like we can fall back to localhost, or we can set it to the domain that this will eventually be on, that we'll deploy to, right?
Yeah, we can do that, but let's just hard code it for now, and then we can get all the functionality up and running, and then if we have time, we can add that in. I think also on Gatsby Cloud, I think we can also get the process and because I think Gatsby Cloud has the domain, because then it will also work for deploy previews and stuff. If we get it from that,
work. I think we pass in I think it's process.env.host, if I recall off the top of my head, but we can look at that in a bit.
Yeah. So now we are actually getting, are we live? True, and we are probably live. But for this case, I am not that interested in getting are we live. I actually want to get the data of that video. So to do that, we need to go back into our are we live function, and instead of some, we need to find the video.
Ooh, and that's the video that you're currently live with.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we do live video, and then if it exists, we do true, and if not, false. And then we can also just pass in that whole object.
Nice.
Live video.
And then we can. Oh, this is exciting.
I just think it's exciting. And then we can get.
You can like embed it and stuff. Oh, wow.
Yes. And then
this is a next level website. It doesn't look like much, but it's packed full of functionality.
I love it.
We've been building this. We've been building this over every stream, Sid. So if you can follow along from the beginning.
I just want to prettify this a little bit. So let's do.
All right.
Yeah, here, because what I want to get access to now is the video ID, so we can embed it. So that would be live video, and I don't think it's that ID. I think it's snippet. It might be the same. Channel. No,
live video snippet.
ID.
Resource ID, video ID. I think it will be.
Resource ID. I don't have that here, so I probably in my prep did wrong because I didn't have access to the live data. So let's do this one then. And to embed. So then.
Are you going to use MDX embed?
I'm not.
Oh.
Then you would have had to prep the thing.
Yeah.
Let's say, so we want to get that live video from the server data. And then if there's a live video, then we want to do the embed. So let's just do this for now. And then if there's no live video, we'll do, I cannot, not live. Like that. And then in here, I'm going to copy paste what I copied before. It's an iframe from YouTube. And what we want here then is that video, and it's not on snippet resource ID video ID. We've had problems with this before because depending on where you're sourcing from with YouTube, it gives you different snippets. It's very confusing. So let's just do ID then. Let's see if that works. Would that work?
Exciting.
Oh my God! There it is.
Oh my God!
Look at that.
That's ridiculous, right? Like when things work the first time, I almost don't believe it. It's amazing.
That's how we roll on that, Sid.
it's crazy, right? Like every time I write tests for something I'm building, and those tests pass the first time, I don't believe it. I'm like, wait, what?
Question it.
And then I go and like try to break them, and then I come back because you never trust something that just works. That's incredible. Look at that. Wow.
Let's do some YOLO style like styling.
Oh, God.
Can we watch the current stream on this stream? Like, can we
Oh,
watch
we can.
our stream?
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that you folks are blowing like my mind right now. This is amazing.
I am so
love
happy
it.
that. Oh, now it's gone. No, we did something. Oh, not live.
we do?
Are you kidding me? Didn't we just do this?
Is
Ooh,
it
I
because
messed-
you've
not
got that
passing the
weird
query
error
param.
with the style tag?
Oh, we're not
and then
passing
we're
the
not
query
passing the
param.
query.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
There we go. Okay.
There you go.
So if we do look at that, now we can look at ourselves looking at ourselves. Look at this. This is
We
the
can
not
we
live
can look
that
at
we just
ourselves
saw.
from a few seconds ago, right? Like, because it's look at, oh my
Well, this
God.
is now going to
It's
be
like
us watching us watching us watching us.
it's like a
It's
view into the
Inception.
past. Oh my God. Ola looks really confused right now. Like if you look at his face, I don't know if you...
Are you digging the SSSR, Ola?
I'm doing something else here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
You're going to see it. You're going to see it later.
Oh. And then I added this little error thing here. Error. So instead of just giving away that not live, I thought to do, if there's an error, then let's do the error message. And if not, so let's do error. If there's an error message, let's do the error message.
So I guess a question then, Benedicte, what you're kind of doing here with the error handling in get server data is a similar pattern to what we've done with all the functions work, right? So there'll be a try catch, we send back a meaningful error or a meaningful message along with whatever we hope the data response would be, and then we use it in the page. So it is very similar to how functions work, but they're baked into the page rather than requested at runtime. That's the kind of main difference here, isn't it? But
yeah,
it's kind of an odd concept to be dealing with a server that's a function, but it's also a page, and you're like, oh, what?
So if we remove that token now, we should get like the error message and not, a faulty API live instead of getting the not live, because we don't know that because it's an error, right?
What's the full flow here then? When you log in, would it redirect to the live page with the token in the URL? Is that what
that would be what we would have to do? Yeah.
Yeah.
But we should add a little like live now, and then people can like press, because it's good form not to start videos without people asking to. So let's do live now. Press play. Look at this beautiful copy.
How many exclamation marks is there? Is that 4 or 5?
I mean,
because if it's less than 5, I'm not pressing play.
Yeah.
One,
not
2, 3,
serious.
4.
I was just gonna say I was just gonna say that's like you want a few more, like a tad, like I don't know, like maybe like 5 more.
I'm gonna do pirate flag instead.
Right.
Now that I have pirate flags on my operating system. Yeah, so the flow I was thinking was that on this Lao marquee here, instead of it saying just live now, or instead of it sending us to the YouTube, it would send us to this page with the access token as a query param. But let's not do that live, because I'll put that in the PR. Everyone can head on over and have a look at that. But I wanted to talk to Sid about is this like a good way of doing it, or should we have been setting maybe a cookie of some sort? Because it just feels a little ugly to put that access token in there. Like, how would we get that kind of data into our server-side rendered pages?
Yeah, that's a great question. So typically when it comes to stuff like auth and access tokens in general, right, putting them in the URL is probably a bad idea. And the reason it's a bad idea is because access tokens are potentially sensitive, right? You don't want folks to share them. You want URLs to be shareable and you don't want your own access token to be in it typically. So I would avoid putting it in a query param. Typically, I've seen like two patterns on how people do this, right? Like the one pattern is they store an access token as a JOT, a JWT in, maybe local storage or session storage, and then send it on every request. And the other, and my preferred method, is like the tried and tested cookie, right? You set an HTTP cookie that you can't read in JavaScript. And the way you set that is when you authenticate, the server returns back a set cookie header with that token set. And like your JavaScript and like the user never sees it, it just works under the hood. When you log out, the cookie is removed, and every HTTP cookie is sent for every request. So everything just works, right? That's my preferred way of doing it. Like that's how I think we should go.
Because the interesting thing is, like, more of a front end, I've been very accustomed to using these access tokens. But as you said, then you save them in local storage or session storage, and you send it with every request. But I'm guessing we can't do that with an SSR page, because we can't send something from local storage or session storage into the SSR page without using like the query param. Am I thinking?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And that's why a cookie is a better idea.
So do we want to YOLO a cookie?
Let's do it.
But I don't think we authenticate in the API. We just...
Isn't that in the... We did do this for like a page thing for on a previous PR, I think, Benedict.
Oh, so you have a run JWT check right there. So you run a JOT check.
Yeah, so this is whenever we do the Are We Live thing. So we don't do it on authentication, but this runs right after authentication. As soon as we're authenticated, we run this Are We Live function. So I guess as not a very great way, but we could just set the cookie in here.
We could do that.
And then I can refactor it out later and like put it somewhere proper.
Yeah. Ideally that cookie gets set in like your login function or whatever, right? Like you have a page that displays a form and you log in and that hits an API, and that API response returns a set cookie header. And maybe we already a Gatsby function. Right?
Yeah, but that API is auth0, so maybe auth0 already sets a cookie for us.
I'm sure we had a branch where we'd done this already.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can configure it to do that. Like I would be very surprised if it doesn't do that. In fact, I bet auth0 would set the cookie for you, and then
that's
on
what
your
I'm thinking.
SSR page, you can use auth0's npm library to say, hey, are you like, oh, look at that, is authenticated, and that's set to true, right? And that's the cookie. All we need to then do is just probably download the npm package for auth0, and in our SSR page, like right before we do anything else, we can just run that and check if you're authenticated or not. And presumably that'll just like do it for us. Like that's what I'm thinking.
We're doing this JW2 check, but we're actually sending. But to do that, we are sending the. Let's see. We are actually sending it in as a bearer token.
Right. Let's look at if auth0 supports like the cookie check thingy. Let me Google that right now.
Because we have to get the access token silently. I don't think the access token is part of the cookie, unfortunately. But we could. How's everyone in the chat? Well, we like Google for Google Docs. Are you okay with us YOLOing a little bit, Ola? Are you okay with that? It's going to take some more time. Ola, you're muted.
Ola fell asleep.
I'm not
got bored.
Not at all. I have something we can look at. Benedicta. Should we do it?
Okay.
Say yes. Say yes.
I don't know. What can
that was a very hesitant. Okay.
That means yes. So it's your thing, Sid. It's your thing. I'll share it now.
I can go and look. I can go look a little bit.
My thing.
Your thing. Your plug.
Thing. Yeah. Are you ready?
Oh.
You want to say something first, and you say something first, and then I'll put you on. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Right. that's great. This is a JavaScript stream, but if you don't like JavaScript and you want to learn how to write Rust, I happen to be building a course called Rust for JS developers. The idea is that if you've been writing JavaScript like most of us are for a while, you know it well, you think in JavaScript, and you don't want to learn a brand new language from scratch and like learn, how to make a const and whatnot in it, right? Typically, that's boring. What this course does is that it builds on your JavaScript knowledge and gives you analogies to sort of learn stuff in Rust based on stuff you already know in JavaScript. So that's why it's called Rust for JS developers. To be fair though, even if you aren't a JS developer, totally feel free to like sign up. Maybe it'll be useful, but that's what the course is. It's not out yet. I'm currently building it. And I see someone in the chat saying Rust is awesome. Absolutely can confirm Rust is fantastic. And it's really not as hard as you'd think. Sign up for the course. Pre-orders open soon. I'm super excited about like how much. I mean, it's a Gatsby site, it's a Gatsby app, but I've done a bunch of stuff behind the scenes for you to be able to, run like Rust code in the browser and so on. So yeah, sign up. You'll hear from me soon, and that's the course.
What's the price? What's the price?
Oh, the price? That's not out yet. I can't tell you. I mean, pre-orders open in a bit.
It's a secret price.
Top secret. Top secret.
I haven't decided yet.
It's not free. It's not free, right? Good.
It's not free.
Will there be a Nattermob discount code?
Yeah, will there be a Nattermob? This ooh.
100%. Like
100% discount.
Yeah. but for sure, like let's do that. I will make sure
it will
set up a custom
it will be
code
Nattermob
just for y'all.
Nattermob.
100%. 100%. That's gonna happen.
I have some questions.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Queen Raae, do you have it? Oh, you want to get started again?
No, but I need Sid's help because cookies are not my thing.
Right.
I found a page here with like cookie information, but I don't understand any of it.
Put the code back on. You just do that. Yeah.
Let's look at it. Let's look at it.
So it says cookies, and then it just says a lot of things that I don't really.
Okay, so let's scroll down and take a look at what Auth0 is doing here. So I can. Okay.
I'll send it to you in the private chat, and you can have a look at that.
Yes, that is a good idea. Let's do that. I'm also gonna search a tad myself.
And Petter is saying developer equals paid professional Googler. I will not comment.
Oh,
on
absolutely,
that.
absolutely, absolutely. That's literally all I do.
And if you're tired of Googling, take Sid's course. Ooh, that was a transition.
That was good. That was really good. All right, so I'm looking at the Auth0 docs now, and it does indeed support cookie-based authentication, right?
Yeah.
Like Auth0 will set your cookies for you and send it across. What we now need to do is we need to verify that cookie, like in our server. So I think the first thing we should do is let's go ahead and log our headers over at get server data and take a look at if you're getting the cookie at all to begin with, right? I think that's a good starting point. Let's do that because we are authenticated right now.
So I just want to remind everyone we have solved today's tiny task of get server data. We are now YOLOing, so we're gonna go way over time. So if you want to leave, everyone in the chat. You're allowed. I don't want to hold you longer than you need to be. Okay, so let's refresh this page and see what we get for headers. Ooh, we're getting loads.
Look at that. A bunch of stuff, right?
Cookie.
And you see the beautiful.
She's now saying, "I want cookies." Somebody give the child a cookie. Okay.
So we do have a cookie. It doesn't have the token in it, but it does, like, there is Auth0, there is some cookie Auth0 writing. I bet we can configure Auth0 to actually set the cookie with, a token and whatnot. Can we maybe like, can we open Auth0 and like look at our settings screen there?
Yeah,
take a look at.
I'm just gonna take you off screen for a tiny second because I have shared stuff in the past. You might not know this, Sid, but I shared my credit card number when I was doing a stream, which was a pain. Yeah, you have a question. You have a question. Yeah, I know. Are you making some core internal Gatsby logic faster with Rust?
That is a very good question. In fact, one of the things that I'm doing right now, and this isn't Gatsby open source, not yet at least, but one of the things I'm doing right now is on Gatsby Cloud, we have a router service, right? And the router service is responsible for routing pretty much every request that comes to Gatsby hosting. And one of the things that I've been doing, like on the side, on weekends, is rewriting it in Rust. And the service is a simple service, right? But it's very typical of most of these like services that we typically build. It calls a database, gets some data, looks at what it is, does some validation, and then like returns a response. In my initial testing, I found that it's easily 15 to 20x faster. We're running this serverlessly on Cloud Run on Google Cloud, and I mean it's ridiculous how much resources we can save in terms of like resource consumption and how many instances we have of these services. So yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, it's incredible the kind of performance you get with Rust without all the overhead of most other languages that sort of give you so much, like C, C++. And a lot of that code honestly looks like JavaScript. It's not very different. And that's why I'm so excited about Rust. But yes. We're doing that. Core internal Gatsby logic, not yet, I guess. But I do see a lot of the tooling ecosystem moving towards a Rust-based tooling world. We've seen that with Next and how they're using SWC under the hood. I don't think a lot of those tools are ready yet. I think they're buggy. I think that they all, they're not well documented. There's a lot left to be desired. But I definitely think we're moving towards there. And I reckon it'll take all of us eventually.
Cool. I am trying to find that there. I mean, Auth0, there is so much.
Okay, I'll ask another question then.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So, Sid, you're doing this thing in London, React Advanced.
How did you know about that?
I'm not telling my sources. No, but you're going there. You're going there, right? You're flying over.
Yes, I did apply for my visa a couple of days ago. I got an email today from the folks that my passport has been dispatched. I think I receive it tomorrow. Fingers crossed I get that visa. And if I do, then I will be in London next week for React Advanced. I'm super excited because the talk is about Gatsby. The talk is about Gatsby v4 and all the rendering modes it has and all the new stuff. And I want to deep dive into how it works under the hood, what we do on Gatsby Cloud to make things fast. So yeah, there you go. That's look at that. You're incredible, Ola. How do you do it? It's amazing.
So you're talking about the stuff we're talking about today, the SSR thing.
Absolutely, yes. That's what we're talking about.
And DSG, this was the show we did with Wart and his goats. Yes.
Yep.
What the heck is DPR then? What is that?
Great question. So DPR stands for distributed persistent rendering, and there's also ISR, which I forget what that stands for, but that's what like folks do on the Next.js side of things. I want to dive deep into practical differences and also differences in terms of implementation and what promises all of these modes keep. So if you've seen all of these acronyms and you don't know what they mean and it's frustrating, watch the talk. Hopefully we'll have some clarity by the end of it and we'll know what all of them mean and what we care about and what you should use when. That's what the talk is about.
Because we have John here he asked last time. Where are you, John? I'm just gonna put a random chat thing from Ron. So, but I'm just gonna say, yes, here. Oh, here. No, it's not.
You find it?
Them.
I'd like to hear use cases for SSR on some pages on a site. I realize I help builds. Great question. So let me answer that. A lot of times, and we've seen this over the years, right? You build a Gatsby site. It's fantastic. It works. It's really fast because it's all statically built. But sometimes you want to display pages on a per user basis, customized down to a T where, maybe you want to do some kind of A/B testing. Maybe, you want to, I don't know, render like authenticated pages in, and you don't want to do a client-side app for some reason, right? So SSR is the way folks have been doing this sort of stuff for years now. And I do personally still think static is the way to go. If you'd ask me, if I had to build a site today, tomorrow, I would probably build it statically and have a client-side app that calls APIs. You can do most of that stuff in client-side land too. But needless to say, there are use cases like A/B testing, like I said, right? Stuff that is really like frustrating or painful to do with static with client-side apps still even today. I think those are the use cases for SSR. However, if you're not sure if you need it or not, maybe you don't. Maybe just go with what you're already doing, because that's always going to be faster, right? Statically built pages are always going to be much faster than pages that are rendered on request.
Yeah.
So unless you know you need it for sure, don't bother. That's what I would say.
So I put John on here. That's because of another thing also. So John always has good questions. So this is the one he asked for on when we had Vart here, and that is, so all these acronyms, you guys should make a book. Just a little one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but you're making a talk here because you have a lot of them.
All of them. I have all the acronyms. The talk has all the acronyms. All the jam-packed acronyms. All of them. So, I promise you. If more come out tomorrow, I will add them. All right. The talk is on the 22nd of October. Yes. If there's one I haven't included, you call me, John. Right? You call me and I will add it. I'm Sid at Gatsby. Hold on. Should I be giving my email out on? It's like a quick 5 seconds. I'm Sid at GatsbyJS.com. Email me if there's another acronym.
Yeah.
I will make sure we clear all of that confusion.
Will there be a drinking game during your talk where every time you mention, if you mention SSR, it's like 2 fingers of beer, you have to drink it. If you mention DSG, it's like a bottle of vodka, and you just have to go through the whole talk that way.
Oh man, we should do that. We're gonna get so drunk by the end of it, Paul.
Paul, we can do watch party. We can do watch party.
And, let's do a group watch party thing on that. Actually.
I am just gonna say
you should come and watch.
You're
in London, right?
Yeah, that's true.
We should do a couple of pints. Right?
Of course,
we should meet.
I am just gonna say that we're just going to put that cookie to rest because I just noticed my brain is not functioning. But maybe we can do that on another stream.
I blame Auth0, man. I blame Auth0's docs.
Yes.
This is complicated.
Obviously.
Have you seen the docs on Gatsby? Like they're just so accessible, right?
So very accessible. I mean, I just went in there, I copied, and boom, we had a server-side rendered page.
You see what I did there? You see what I did? To be fair, though, like that's not on me or like a lot of us. That's on Megan. If you haven't seen Megan, you should see Megan. She's incredible. She does she's one of the best engineers I've met. She writes some incredible documentation stuff that's so accessible but still not shallow. And I should put her Twitter on the chat. There you go. Go follow Megan. And go. Ask
cannot share.
Documentation.
I'm gonna share her username, but we cannot share links in the YouTube chat. They take it away, but her username.
But you can put it in the private chat.
Yeah, he did, and then there we go.
Oh,
I'm gonna username, because then people can just copy paste that username into Twitter, and also her talk from Gatsby Camp was very good. If anybody's interested in docs. I know that friend of the show, Rich, really enjoyed that. That talk. He's doing docs at Vercel now. So
nice.
Yes, he doesn't want to hang with us Gatsby folks anymore.
He's at the other company.
He's at the other company where they call it Get Static Props or something. Server.
They do great work though. Like I love what they're doing as well. Like I think it's great. They do great work, and Next has come such a long way in the past maybe year or longer. It's incredible. It's really nice to see how mature all of these tools are getting.
Yeah, I saw Megan's talk, and I used her. She had this structure, which I don't exactly remember now. It's something why, how, and what. Yeah, something like that, but in the right sequence. And I used that for my newsletter actually, because she had these nice drawings and everything. I was like, yeah. So that was the talk.
She's incredible.
Yeah,
Megan's incredible. Love Megan.
So many incredible people. Yes. And now I'm thinking, Paul, are you watching football or soccer?
No. Why?
The last time you were this unfocused during our streams was when there was soccer going on your phone, and you were like,
"No, I'm just quietly listening, taking it all in."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I haven't had much to do this week, have I? And I'm not drinking. That might be the other reason I'm quiet. I'm sober.
But there's a question from you for the chat
on these streams, because I would have made it I would have made a GNT. I mean, it's 12 a.m. right now. I could have. It would have been nice.
Yes,
I would have done
it
that.
Is you bring your favorite grog, but we kind of stopped asking folks that. I don't know. Maybe we should bring that back. Your favorite grog. I'm just drinking water, a sparkly water today. We've been on vacation for a couple of days, so I am a little tired from the family vacation, so I'm just drinking water. But last week I was drinking some gin. So, why did you put me in the bottom corner, Ola?
Because I wanted. We got a question here from the audience.
Yes,
and I wanted us to see the screen.
Okay, and then we can do the summary and wrap this up at the hour.
Paul,
let's do it. It's a good question.
Oh, you want me to? I've already answered. I've already spoken to him in the chat.
I have.
I've got.
You got a new screen.
Yes. So this was this is a portable monitor that Luigi from our working group had suggested I buy. So
our co-working.
Sorry, I couldn't remember the name of it. I actually had it last week, but I'd used it throughout the day, and then I realized I couldn't charge it and use it at the same time, and it ran out of batteries just before we went to go live. So I was like, so I had to wait like a whole week before I could introduce it again. So yes, this is it. This is a portable monitor.
Wait, so you can take it out of that dock thingy and like, how does it show me?
Yeah, it's just like it's just a
okay, that is cool.
Tiny little thing like that. There you are. Look.
There we are.
CD or OLED? Oh, that's me. Hi.
If you bring up the Live Now page, Benedicte, that watches the video of us watching a video of me showing us watching a video.
It's incredible. Too much. I can't get over this. This is just this is the greatest stream I have ever been on.
We'll quote you on that.
Do it.
All right.
Okay,
it's been really fun having. I was just gonna say though, Sid, you should get one of those for your trip so that you can have dual screens when you go overseas.
Yeah. Can you link us to that, Paul? Can you link us? Can you link us in the chat?
Yeah. Man.
You can do that in the private chat, but just put the name in the regular chat because, as I said, YouTube just strips out all. It's really weird because YouTube doesn't say anything; they just strip out any comment with a URL in there. And then I still see them if I do that. And then like people are like, oh, you're not sharing. And then I'm like, I'm sharing. Well, anyway, I'm going to do a summary and then you transition us out. Ola, am I correct? Okay, so what did we do today, folks? Today's tiny task was adding get server data to, let's remove this test. This is a great summary. Let me start again. Today's tiny task was to add get server data to a page, and that magically makes it a server-side rendered page and not a regular statically generated page. Site generator, SS, yeah.
You got it.
Almost. I got it. Yes.
Yeah.
So for this one, since we're on our Nattermob.dev page, what we are doing is that we're asking that are we alive endpoint that we made a long time ago for information about the live video. And if we are live, it embeds the video. So if you are somebody who's logged in and you're eagerly awaiting our show, you can just refresh this page. And as soon as we're live, or as soon as YouTube says we're live, you'll get the video up here. And it's server-side rendered because we need to know like the state of I guess also we could have made a statically generated site and then in the browser start pulling data and then embedding it when it goes live, but we wanted to showcase server-side rendering. So that's what we did. And we also get the access token that we make when we log in. We use that and send it into our Are We Live endpoint because we have protected our Are We Live endpoint with authentication so that we don't overheat our YouTube quota. But as Sid said, this should probably have been done in a cookie. So I'm going to research that, and that will probably be a topic for a future show all about Gatsby version 4, because I feel like this is something that is much more needed now with server-side rendered pages than was needed before when we only did this kind of stuff on the client. So that was the summary,
Wow.
which I kind of fell out of.
That was fantastic.
That was it. Okay, thank you. You're a good cheerleader. it's nice. But that's it. So you can transition us out, Ola, and there check the links for the code is up already on GitHub, and also sign up for our newsletter if you want to get a reminder about these streams 30 minutes before we go live.
This has been another unauthorized and rum-fueled Thursday treasure hunt in the sharky waters around the Gatsby Islands with Gatsby Deep Diving Queen Raae and her Gatsby Pirates. And next Thursday there will be another show. Bye.
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 Keep waving. Keep waving.